Well, it keeps getting crazier, guys. After the Lakers pulled off a trade to land Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton in Los Angeles, it seems like the Lakers might not be done, and the pursuit for a center, which I know a lot of you guys have been calling for in the comments, it might be coming to fruition. In fact, there is one particular player who they let slip away a few years ago that they might be targeting this time, right before or at the February 6th NBA trade deadline. Today, we're going to talk about who that player is, why the Lakers should pursue him, and if it makes sense financially for both parties to get involved. But welcome to Lakers Digest here, guys. My name is Hunter Pitcoff, and we cover everything, and I'm not joking, everything surrounding your Los Angeles Lakers. If you are new to the channel, hello. Happy New Year. We're trying to kick things off here and reach 5,000 subs, and we are so close to reaching that goal. At the time of this recording, just under 4.5. If we can reach 5,000 of you guys by the end of January 2025, it's going to be a great way for us to start the new year. And as the Lakers are building momentum this season, let's build momentum here on this channel. But you know what? I don't want to keep you guys waiting any longer. Let's just get into today's video here. Second chances don't come often, and that might hit harder for some of you guys, maybe on other personal levels, but the Los Angeles Lakers have a chance to do something here that very rarely happens in the NBA and very rarely sometimes happens in life, which is to capitalize on a mistake that they probably made in the past, and that is none other than a specific player here who literally asked to be a Los Angeles Laker back in 2022, and I know you guys have been asking for him to return, or not return to the Lakers, but to become a Laker and rock the purple and gold. So take it from the man himself back in 2022, Myles Turner saying, if I'm the Lakers, I take a very hard look at this with the position that you are in, and I know I provide to a team my leadership, my shot blocking, my three-point ability, and just my ability to make plays out there on the floor. I would take a very long look at it. So Myles Turner said this back in 2022, and what he's referring to is the rumor out there that the Los Angeles Lakers and the Indiana Pacers had an agreement that they would trade Russell Westbrook when the Lakers had him to the Pacers for Myles Turner, Buddy Hield, and 2 first-round picks. Now, that exact trade can't happen anymore because Buddy Hield is not on the Pacers anymore. Now he's on Golden State Warriors. So this was a chance for the Lakers to get their get-out-of-jail-free card with a bad Russell Westbrook deal. They instead roll with him. They think Darvin Ham's going to fix him. And not blaming Westbrook here, but it just didn't work, and he ends up getting shipped down. That's when the Lakers made that big trade, that haul, getting Vanderbilt, D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley instead. But the Lakers had a chance to make this trade for Myles Turner, and looking back at it, they said no. They didn't want to do it, and now the Lakers are still left looking for another center to play alongside or behind Anthony Davis. And Myles Turner is still an option now for the Los Angeles Lakers. And in fact, this is what Jovan Buha reported. He covers the Lakers for The Athletic. He has as good of an ear to this team as just about any reporter does out there that covers the Lakers. And this is what he said on his podcast last month, back in December of 2024. He said the Lakers have been very high on Indiana Pacer big Myles Turner for multiple seasons now, as we just talked about. And responding, had a little live stream on talking about it. And he actually said, though, that he wonders if the Pacers would be willing to move Turner, and added that I've not heard of him as a legitimate candidate in a swap. So what he's hearing is that the Lakers still want Myles Turner, despite the fact that they rejected a trade for him 2 years ago, or coming up on, I guess, 3 years now, back in 2022. But perhaps they've had a change of heart, and now the question is if the Pacers are willing to bite that bullet. But let's talk about this, though, too, before we get into the intricacies of how to facilitate a trade for Myles Turner here. Why does Myles Turner fit LA? There's a lot of good reasons why Myles Turner fits LA. He's like the perfect modern-day big man. That is probably the best way that I can describe Myles Turner. If you want to look at his stats for the season with Indiana, 15 points a game, 7 rebounds, 2 blocks, shoots nearly 50% from the field, 39% from 3, and he will be 29 years old, 6'11", good athlete. He does everything you want in a modern-day big man. He's a really good rim protector. He rebounds the ball. He can shoot the 3. Also not a bad ISO scorer as well. And he has the size and versatility to also switch onto smaller players in pick-and-roll scenarios. And this would be a player who would be probably, since DeMarcus Cousins in New Orleans, the best front court big man that Anthony Davis has ever played with in his career. We're not counting LeBron. He's not a big, So Myles Turner just has that versatility and athleticism that fits really nicely next to Anthony Davis and would fit nicely in a Lakers starting five as well because he can shoot the ball. He's a really good three-point shooter, and he can camp out the three-point line, and you can run some crazy pick-and-roll actions with how good Anthony Davis is as a ball handler and a passer as your 4-5 pick-and-roll there, which would be insane because we saw the Pelicans do that a lot with Boogie back when him and Anthony Davis were together in New Orleans. So you'd have the opportunity to get that again. The amount of fun opportunities with LeBron James there and the pick-and-roll, pick-and-pop options with Turner. I mean, the playbook for J.J. Redick would be out of this world. He would have so many options there, and the Lakers become one of the biggest, most versatile teams in the entire Western Conference, and they probably have the best front court in the Western Conference off the top of my head if they have LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Myles Turner as your starting front court. So that's good. You have that kind of versatility there that would make it work offensively. Defensively, LeBron James at this point is not necessarily a great perimeter defender consistently night in, night out. You can still have Dorian Finney-Smith there that could fill your starting lineup, or you can start Max Christie. You can play them all together, if you really wanted to. And the Lakers can really kind of get back to where they were in 2020, where they had two big men, Anthony Davis playing the 4 and LeBron James being your primary point guard. And he's still actually top 5, I believe, as is recording 4th in the NBA with just over 8 assists a game for LeBron in year 22. So this is a good basketball fit. Now, I'm a big fan. Myles Turner is a kind of a plug-and-play guy that can play on any 30 teams here in the NBA. But, of course, guys, this is not La-La Land. We do have to talk about how this trade can actually happen and if this trade can actually happen here for the Los Angeles Lakers. So can the Lakers actually realistically pull off a trade for Myles Turner? The answer, money-wise, is actually yes. They can do it, and here is why. If you look at Myles Turner's contract this year, the Pacers love giving him 2-year extensions. Well, this is the end of his extension. He's making just a little under $20 million a year this season for the Pacers, and then he is an undrafted. He's an unrestricted free agent who's going to be out there on the market. The Pacers right now are a team that's sitting right at 500 at 18-18 and 8th in the Eastern Conference. So they have kind of had a bit of a disappointing season after making the Eastern Conference Eastern Conference Finals, just a season ago. So they also don't have Isaiah Jackson, too. So that's another big who's been out for the year for the Pacers. That's typically the one who plays behind Myles Turner. Not the same skill set, not the same player, but he's still a pretty solid option that they just don't have right now. So the Pacers right now find themselves, or they're 19-18. They just won. So they find themselves literally in the middle of the NBA, which is like arguably the worst position to be in because you're not contending for a championship, and on the other hand, you're not bad enough to tank for picks. And this is something that the Pacers have found themselves in really ever since that those 2010 days when they had Paul George and Rory Hibbert and David West and George Hill, Lance Stevenson, all those guys were together competing with the Miami Heat and trying to make it to the NBA Finals and kind of just kept coming up short a few times. So they haven't really been an upper echelon team since then. And they have a lot of good pieces, a lot of good young pieces. Myles Turner is going to be 29 years old in this year, 2025. So he is not an old player, but he's right in the prime of his career. So the question, I guess, for the Pacers is, are they going to try to keep the band together, or are they going to try to get some assets if they think they're going to lose Myles Turner in free agency? And if that's the case, the Lakers do have the money and the picks to make this happen, although it's going to be a little bit different than what we saw, of course, in 2022, because it's a completely different team the Lakers have here. So LeBron James, Anthony Davis, they're not going to be in the trade. Dorian Finney-Smith, Shake Milton, obviously they won't be in the trade. And I'm pretty confident that the Lakers wouldn't give up Austin Reaves to go get Myles Turner. And I also don't think that they would give up Max Christie or Dalton Knecht, or they'd be hanging on to both those guys for dear life. So the Pacers don't actually have a whole lot of leverage here because, like I said, Myles Turner could just walk away. And he's already expressed interest, like we just talked about, maybe playing for the Lakers at some point down the road. He said in 2022. Perhaps he still has that mindset in 2025. I don't know. But, I can't see why he wouldn't want to go to a better team than the Lakers than the Indiana Pacers are right now. So looking at the Lakers cap situation right here, Rui Hachimura is the one that makes the most sense. He's on the books for $17 million this year, $18-ish next year. So the Pacers can have somebody who is a nice offensive threat, a good basketball player, doesn't play a whole lot of defense, but offensively he's going to give you a nice scoring punch, and the salaries fit. But like I said, guys, the Lakers would need to not only match, but since they're a first apron salary cap team, they're also going to have to give up more salary than what they're getting back in return for Myles Turner here, because he does make a little under $20 million. We'll just say $20 million just to round it up, guys. So the Lakers would need about $3-ish million more dollars. Well, they can do that. They can give up Jalen Hood-Schifino. He's making a tad under $4 million, and he is also an expiring deal. I know the numbers here are a little messed up, but the Lakers decide to not opt into his team option, so that means that Jalen Hood-Schifino is going to be an unrestricted free agent this upcoming offseason. So that's another expiring deal that the Pacers can take, or if they like Jalen Hood-Schifino, he could be a nice experimental point guard that could potentially, back up a guy like Tyrese Halliburton, who's a really good pick and roll player. That's what that's how he butters his bread, is in the pick and roll game. So he could potentially be a nicer fit there as that third guard behind McConnell and Halliburton there in Indiana. So that could potentially be your trade right there. Jalen Hood-Schifino and Rui Hachimura, they send them out. They also could do something where they give up like Gabe Vincent, Jalen Hood-Schifino. If they want to go really all out, they could give up also, the money's going to be a little tight here. I'd say Gabe Vincent, Hood-Schifino, that puts you at like 15. And then you could also do like Christian Wood and Cam Reddish or something like that. But I doubt that the Pacers would really want to give up that much more salary. And I don't have the Pacers payroll on me right now, but they'd have to give up probably something else in return to make that happen. So realistically, Rui Hachimura, Jalen Hood-Schifino, that alone won't get it done for the Pacers. So they probably would have to throw in a first-round pick, which the Lakers have a couple of them to give. I don't think they'd have to give up 2. I think they can give up 1 and maybe a second-round pick. Maybe they ask for 2, and if the Pacers are so, if they think that Turner's not going to come back, then they're not going to give up, no team's going to give up 2 first. Maybe a 1 top. So I'll go Hachimura, Hood-Schifino, a first-round pick, and maybe a second-round pick to sweeten the pot to get Myles Turner here. I think it'd be a good trade. I like Rui a lot, but Myles Turner's a better player who you can even argue is a better fit. Definitely a much better defensive player. It solves your big man issue. They just traded for Dorian Finney-Smith, so they have their 3-and-D perimeter player. So that does actually still give him some flexibility to maybe go out there and get a guard perhaps as well. But let me know down below in the comments what you guys think. I'm sorry, it's just a little bit of a longer video, but I really want to go into the details because you guys wanted Myles Turner. Not all of you, but some of you in the comments have been talking about him quite a bit as a trade possibility. So I wanted to, be for the people there and give you guys a scenario that it realistically could happen. They can make it work. I guess the question is, can the Pacers, are they going to budge on him? Because historically, this is a team that doesn't really like to rebuild at all. They kind of like being in the middle of the pack of the NBA, which is kind of odd, but okay, do you, Indiana. Or, can the Lakers maybe convince them and redeem a second chance that they messed up the first time not landing him in 2022 and bring him here? And guys, I'm going to just say it one more time. I know I'm annoying with it, but it works. We have to do it. 5,000 subscribers. Let's get that by the end of the month. We are already halfway there. We reached 4,000 right before the ball dropped on New Year's Eve. We can definitely get to 5,000. That's how confident I am in the momentum we have building here. Hop on this bandwagon now before it's too late. Get your ticket. Go sit first class, front row. For everybody else, you got to be waiting in line and sitting in the back. And like I said, we cover everything here. Not just hypothetical trade targets for the Lakers. We also cover the games, any reports that come out. Anything you guys also want us to talk about, leave it below in the comments. We will talk about it. I'll try my very best. We got 2 other co-hosts here. We're putting out content multiple times a day, every single day. So stay tuned here for everything you need to know about the Lakers here on Lakers Digest.